Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's another fine, beautiful, glorious day here in Eastern North Carolina. I'm in growing zone 8A, Eastern North Carolina, in case you're wondering. If you're a new subscriber, which there are quite a few new subscribers, so thank you for subscribing. If you're only here for the shorts, so be it. I've been putting out a number of shorts recently, and I'm going to try to keep that trend going, and it tries to challenge me to do something a little different as opposed to the longer format videos. So let's look at what's going on around the garden here. Off the camera over there, I have my radishes in the bed there, growing, doing wonderful. I'm pretty excited. Hopefully when that bed is done, which should hopefully be in the next 3 to 4 weeks, maybe about 3 weeks probably, I'll be pulling, of course, those radishes out and putting in half beans, something I've never grown before, and I'll talk about more than that when I get to that. I've started pulling plants out of the greenhouse because I think we're past our last freeze. Now, never say never. Last approximate freeze is supposed to be around April 1st, but I think we've had our last hurrah so far as freezes. So my potting bench is filling up, and pulling plants out. Some of the stuff has actually gotten planted, such as the Walla Walla onions. I've planted them up recently. I've even mulched a little bit with some grass clippings, because probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks it's going to start getting, we're going to get those 80-degree days, although nighttime temperatures will still get cool, but we'll be getting into summer. Spring here in the south is very short, so so those temperatures will be climbing. So if I can start mulching now with some grass, all the better. Peas, I have peas planted and they are growing, which is great. Little slow off the start, I gotta say. And for peas being a cool weather crop, I'm a little surprised. I thought they'd take off a little bit faster, but they're growing. I did turn around and plant some potatoes this morning. I got those planted in the ground. I have more potatoes to plant, and I have more potatoes coming in the mail soon. So I'll be probably growing them in grow bags, because I have plans for these other beds, and plus the one I still have to build. It's okay, because I can put the grow bags anywhere. I can put them up on the back deck. I can put them elsewhere here in the vegetable garden. I have space. That's not a problem. What is a problem is getting the potatoes to grow. Last year I had a horrible crop. It was actually I had no crop at all. It was very disappointing. I think, well, I'm pretty sure at this point that most of the problems were self-inflicted. They were my own. So I'm going to try not to repeat those mistakes, and hopefully have a good crop of potatoes this year. Off over here to the side, we have, I began doing the in-ground veg bed redo, let's call it. If you've again been a long-time subscriber, you may have remembered I had rows here previously, and it just wasn't really working for me for various reasons, and one of them was mowing. And when it's 80 degrees out in the shade and 60% humidity, doing any sort of physical activity really stinks, and running a push mower through the vegetable garden here is a really bleh job. So my thought was this year is just to do one large veg bed, straight borders. So I've started off, of course, at the one end, and when I start planting up the bed, I will explain what I'm doing. But basically I'm doing all no dig. I've done it before, I'm doing it again. The black weed fabric has knocked back a lot of the grass and the weeds. I'm slowly peeling that back, and over the next few weeks, I'm gonna turn around and have this whole bed done, hopefully, and then I'll be planting into it, and by that point, we'll be well past the point of last frost, so there'll be no danger to any of the crops that I plant in here. Let's see what else. My chocolate vine up front at the gate is just looking incredible, and for the first time in 3 years, it is flowering. Although none of it smells like chocolate vine, none of it smells like chocolate. I haven't tasted any of it. I don't know if any of it's edible. Got it because I thought the name was neat, and I thought it was supposed to have some sort of chocolate-like aroma. Again, I've smelt no chocolate smell on it. The rose garden is starting to, well, it is overwhelmed with weeds, but since I have a lot of plants that I need to get into the ground in various places that are currently in pots, I'm going to be slowly renovating the rose garden. Plus I have a climbing rose. I really want to get into the rose garden itself, and when I go to plant that, of course, I'll do a video on it, because how I'm going to treat the climbing rose is going to be something a little different, and it's something I saw recently, I should say, probably a couple of months ago on Gardener's World. I think it was one of their specials or something. Either way, it was an interesting treatment for something that I hadn't seen before. It was, so it's inspired me to now try to replicate that and do that. Again, the rose garden will be expanding this year. I have 4 Earth Angel roses that are growing quite well in their pots. They'll probably get planted up later this year into the rose garden, probably more towards the fall, because they're still pretty small. I'll probably give one away and then do maybe like a row or maybe like 3 in sort of like a triangle pattern, so they can all grow sort of into like one big bush maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of winging it. As you, again, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that's kind of the way I do things. But I'm going to continue weeding out and remulching the current beds, the bed that I have for the rose garden, and I'll be expanding along the front. Not unfortunately going to get the arch that I wanted. I wanted basically a rose tunnel. I wanted to do a rose tunnel leading into the rose garden itself, but unfortunately that's out of the budget and the plans this year. So we're going to be doing something else with the climbing rose and moving on from that. Let's take a look at what else is going on around the garden real quick. Daffodils. Daffodils are pushing up here outside of the veg garden next to the gate. I have another spot over here. Now, unfortunately, it seems like not a lot of the bulbs survived from last year for reasons, but there's still some pushing up. So hopefully they'll come to flower later on, and maybe this upcoming fall I will get more bulbs to plant. Okay, so we're going to take a walk out to the orchard because there's things happening out there, which is pretty exciting. And again, if you've been following along with the channel, you know at the far end of my property, I've been planting various things. I have a fig tree, which we're going to take a look at now. Now, we did have a couple of nightly freezes, and it looks like it bit the fig leaves some. But I do see new buds, and I think this plant will be fine, which is good, I hope. If you think I'm wrong, please leave a comment below. But one of the things I did too last year was I planted a lot of grape hyacinth down here at the base of the fig tree, just to bring some color out here, early spring color. This area is roped off to try to keep the deer out, and so far it has been working, but the grape hyacinth have been coming up. Also, if I zoom in here really close, it looks like I have some poppies. It's hard to tell the poppies from the rest of the weeds in the grass, but hopefully they all start coming up very soon. Well, they are coming up, but hopefully, you know, within the next month or so, especially once we get past the danger of frost and we get the much warmer weather, hopefully the poppies really start booming. And I believe we have some more upcoming rains coming soon, which again, it all helps the poppies. But over here, it's one of my peach trees, and it's flowering. Now, I don't know if I'll get any fruit this year. It would be exciting if I did. But the peach tree is flowering, which is a good sign, which means it's alive, which means I haven't killed it. And of course, the flowers do look lovely. I'm going to take a look at the other peach tree now, because I have 2 of them. I don't know if we can see here, but this peach tree too is flowering. Now, it's not as abundantly flowering as the other one, but there are buds on it. It is looking alive, which is again a good thing, means I haven't killed it. Hopefully the deer stay away from these peach trees. I don't know if they go after peach trees or not, but hopefully they stay away from them. I've been putting down some deer band pellets, and I've been putting deer spray on the trees every couple of weeks. And again, if the deer are hungry enough, they'll ignore all of that and they'll eat it. But so far, so good. No damage to the peach trees. And when I was putting down those grape hyacinth, I put them in various places. So here we are at the end of my property, and I have a few grape hyacinth which are still flowering, a few that have done flowering. And I just put these in between these shrubs here. And what I have is a Nellie Stevens holly, a winterberry, and then I have a Christmas shrub, Christmas holly shrub. I believe that's what it's called. Ooh, it's putting on some berries. Now over here, I have one of my apple trees. And it's a sad looking specimen. It got hit numerous times by the deer last year, but there's no sign of really, it's not brown, which is a good sign, so I'm guessing it's not dead, but I really see no buds on it yet. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video, because hopefully I do a update showing you in the future where it is budding and flowering and doing all that good apple tree stuff. And I have another apple tree. This is my oldest apple tree. And this one right here is also looking pretty good. Now this one did flower last year, and then the deer wound up hitting it, and they wound up taking out the central leader. So I think that's what it's called, right? Central leader, trunk, whatever you want to call it. Either way, they wound up taking that out, but the tree survived. And again, I'm going to keep treating it with the deer ban and the deer spray. I'm also going to turn around and put in some rebar stakes, much as I have on like the other plants, and then I'll have the strings around it. So again, another preventative measure to try to keep the deer away. But again, if they really want to push in and get it, they will. Let's see what else. There's really not much else happening in the orchard because my pawpaws that I planted last year, early this year, whenever I planted the pawpaws, I can't remember, but they're still dormant. They're still chillaxing. They'll probably come to life May, June. If I remember correctly, when they were in pots, that's what they did up on the back deck. So I think once the ground gets to a certain temperature, then they'll spring back to life and life will be good there. Ooh, let's go look at the flower beds. They are a mess, but let's go look at them. Down here towards the end of the driveway, I have the end of the long flower border, which is still under development, but I planted a lot of grape hyacinth here last year, and it looks like most of them have bloomed. Some of them are done, some of them are still doing their thing, but it is a very nice spot of grape hyacinth. And of course, these will fade out in the next few weeks, and then this space will be kind of bare, but that's okay because I have other plantings I intend to do here. And of course, this whole bed right in here is all pretty bare. I did plant a crepe myrtle here. Yeah, that little stick that's sticking out of the ground, that's a crepe myrtle. And hopefully that again comes to life soon. But I have a lot of plants, a lot of seedlings that will be filling up this space soon. Here we have the beginning of the next section. The reason there's a gap here is this is a walkway leading from the driveway into what will eventually be the flower garden, complete flower garden. Still under development, but here I have Apollo Dutch Iris, and it looks like one of them is about to flower. So that's pretty cool. Again, more grape hyacinth. I had a lot of them. And it's a bulb you really can't mess up. So there's a whole little swatch here. Again, hopefully you can tell on the, because I really can't tell on the viewfinder. But next to it, I have some sweet pea. And the sweet pea is starting to grow. It's looking all right. Hopefully it can get some good growth on before, again, we get any of the serious heat. I would like the whole tripod here, or quad pod, whatever you want to call this thing, the whole trellis to fill up with sweet pea. But we will have to wait and see. There's other various plants which are in other various stages. But back here, these are a couple of my transplanted white tiger lilies, and they're putting on growth, and they did that right before the last frost, and they seem to have survived the frost quite well, which is pretty exciting. Again, there's a lot of other plants in here that are doing their things. I got a peony pushing up over here. I believe that's Sandra Bernhardt, so that's pretty exciting. There's Festiva Maxima peony. Don't know if that's going to show up on camera. Apparently I have a white yarrow, which is starting to be a bit thuggish and grow everywhere. So I will have to come in here and clean this up as well as the rest of the bed. These beds are a mess. They're a hot mess. They're weedy. I have the perennial grasses pushing up in them, and I still have some winter cleanup, which I never finished. Columbine. This is a columbine. I believe it's a Eastern columbine. Not sure about that. The flowers are lovely. One of the first splashes of color in this bed. Things are blooming, things are growing. There's a few more things I want to show you that are blooming and growing. In this pot here, that is next to this arch, where I have my wisteria growing, the wisteria is putting on leaves. It's growing. And the growth doesn't really seem to have been bothered by the frost that we had, the freezes, which is good. At the base of the pot here, again, splash of color in the springtime. I have some more muscari, and they'll fade away over the next month or so, but that's fine. Here's my completed splash pad at the end of my drain, my roof drain there. And back here, we have, I believe this is Alaska Shasta Daisy, and it's bloom crazy right now. Isn't that wonderful? That's awesome. These daylilies, I believe the big clusters here are reblooming daylilies. There's a particular name for them. I can't think of it. Either way, they probably could be divided, but I won't do that now. I'll wait until the fall and then maybe I'll overwinter the divisions in the greenhouse and then plant them out early next spring. Maybe. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts below. If you haven't left a comment, please leave the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And of course, more grape hyacinth. Yes, I bought a lot of grape hyacinth bulbs. They're everywhere. I overbought because I thought I underbought. So maybe some of you do the same thing. And then I had too many, if there's such a thing. Let me show you some more grape hyacinth. There's some more grape hyacinth next to the pineapple lily, which is coming up really fast, or really early. In the weedy mess back here are some more grape hyacinth. And then I think this is the last of the grape hyacinth over here, next to the scraggly looking Montauk daisies. One more thing I want to show you, because it's something that only happens in springtime, which is exciting. It's a sign that, you know, things are warming up and spring is coming. Here is my spirea. Now last year, when it started to flower, we got hit with a very hard frost, which wound up killing off a lot of these flowers, which was very sad. But as you can tell, I still have flowers. If I hold it still, I think there's more buds coming, which is exciting. It got nipped a little bit by the cold, but overall, it's looking pretty nice. And I'm excited because it's supposed to get pretty large. Not to leave out this, but this is my 9-bark. Again, got nipped a little bit by the deer last year, but it's putting on new growth now and looking pretty good. I know I keep saying one more thing, but there's one more thing. This is one of my 2 oak leaf hydrangeas. And again, look at all that new growth, which is pretty exciting. And the light freezes that we had recently obviously had no effect on this guy. And the rest of the bed is looking a bit sparse, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be coming to life soon. I have some more sweet pea over here, although it doesn't seem to be as vigorous as the others. But again, maybe once things warm up a little bit more, it'll start taking off. And here's the other oak leaf hydrangea. Looking pretty good. Very exciting. Oh, and more grape hyacinth, because you can never have enough grape hyacinth, right? And just one more thing. Recently purchased a Royal Star magnolia. I have to plant this out in the garden someplace. Not sure where. More than likely it's going to go up front. I don't know where yet though. I have to get the wife's approval because she loves magnolias and she wants to be able to see this. So I can't bury it like on the side of the house where we rarely ever see those plants. Or at least she doesn't, but I do. Either way, got to find a home for this. So the question is it spring yet? No. Technically it's not spring. Again, here in Growing Zone 8A, we may have had our last frost. May. Mother Nature, though, and the Canadians can always surprise us by sending us some more cold air and some freezing nights. But it is looking very much like spring. And if you're up north and you still got snow, you have something to look forward to. Green is coming. It's coming. It will. I promise. It's going to come. That's about going to do it for this video. If you'd like to support the channel and help me maybe buy another packet of seeds to grow, check out the links below. Get yourself a t-shirt. I have many different styles with different things on them. I have mugs, coffee mugs. You got to check out all the links below. If you like the music that I use in the videos, there's links to Epidemic Music where I get my music from. You can go check that out. Also, my social media links are below as well. If you're looking for me on Instagram or something like that, you can go check those out. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.